Greetings to all of you. My dear sisters and brothers and my dear friends, a warm welcome to all of you from your Pastor Yeti. A new week, so for 5 days we're going to come in another story and values and actions and then prayer time. So this week we're going to read from the book of Joshua, chapter 1 to 6, and today I'm going to read the first 2 chapters, otherwise it's going to take too long. For today, in the greatest story, our devotional study, it is Conquest. Joshua installed as leader. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' heir, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now then, you and all these people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land I am about to give to them, to the Israelites. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. Your territory will extend from the desert to Lebanon, and from the great river, the Euphrates, all the Hittite country, to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. No one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you forever and wherever you go. So Joshua ordered the officers of the people, go through the camp and tell the people, get your provisions ready. 3 days from now, you will cross the Jordan here to go in and take possessions of the land the Lord, your God, is giving you for your own. But to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joshua said, remember the command that Moses the servant of the Lord gave you, after he said, the Lord your God will give you rest by giving you this land. Your wives, your children, and your livestock may stay in the land that Moses gave you, east of the Jordan. But all your fighting men, ready for battle, must cross over ahead of your fellow Israelites. You are to help them until the Lord gives them rest, as he done for you, and until they too have taken possession of the land the Lord your God is giving them. And after that you may go back and occupy your own land, which Moses the servant of the Lord gave you east of the Jordan, toward the sunrise. Then they answered Joshua, whatever you have commanded us, we will do, and wherever you send us, we will go. Just as we fully obeyed Moses, so we will obey you. Only may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. Whoever rebels against your word and does not obey it, whatever you may command them, will be put to death. Only be strong and courageous. Rahab and spies. Then Joshua, son of Nun, secretly sent 2 spies from Shittim. Go look over the land, he said, especially Jericho. So they went and entered the house of a prostitute named Rahab, and stayed there. The king of Jericho was told, "Look, some of the Israelites have come here tonight to spy out the land." So the king of Jericho sent this message to Rahab: "Bring out the men who came to you and entered your house, because they have come to spy out the whole land." But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. And she said, "Yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they had come from." At dusk, when it was the time to close the city gate, they left. I don't know which way they went. "Go after them quickly, you may catch up with them." But she had taken them up to the roof and hidden them under the stalks of flax she had laid out on the roof. So the men set out in pursuit of the spies on the road that leads to the fords of Jordan. And as soon as the pursuers had gone out, the gate was shut. Before the spies lay down for the night, she went up the roof and said to them, "I know that the Lord has given you this land, and that a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who live in this country are melting in fear because of you. We have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to Sihon and Og, the 2 kings of the Amorites east of the Jordan, whom you completely destroyed. When we heard of it, our hearts melted in fear, and everyone's courage failed because of you. For the Lord your God is God, in heaven above and on the earth below. Now then, please swear to me by the Lord that you will show kindness to my family, because I have shown kindness to you. Give me a sure sign that you will spare the lives of my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all who belong to them, and that you will save us from death." "Our lives for your lives," the man assured her. "If you don't tell what we are doing, we will treat you kindly and faithfully when the Lord gives us the land." So she led them down by a rope through the window, for the house she lived in was part of the city wall. She said to them, "Go to the hills, so the pursuers will not find you. Hide yourself there 3 days until they return, and then go on your way." Now the man had said to her, "This oath you made us swear will not be binding on us, unless when we enter the land you have tied this secret cord, this scarlet cord, in the window through which you let us down, and unless you have brought your father and mother, your brother, and all your families into your house. If any of them go outside your house into the street, their blood be on their own heads. We will not be responsible. As for those who are in the house with you, their blood will be on our head if a hand is laid on them. But if you tell what we are doing, we will be released from the oath you made us swear." "Agreed," she replied. "Let it be as you say." So she sent them away, and they departed, and she tied the scarlet cord in the window. When they left, they went into the hills and stayed there 3 days, until the pursuers had searched all along the road and returned without finding them. Then the 2 men started back. They went down out of the hills, forded the river, and came to Joshua son of Nun, and told him everything that had happened to them. They said to Joshua, "The Lord has surely given the whole land into our hands. All the people are melting in fear because of us." Till this 2nd chapter. So tomorrow is going to be 3 and 4. So Monday, that was our story. How long had it been since the last time they stood there, gazing across the borders into the land that would be their new home? 38 years of wandering, burying their friends in the wilderness. Dozens of them every day. Those had been the most depressing years of Joshua's life. At least Joshua had his mentor, Moses. When everything seemed get crazy and out of control, when doubts began to creep in and display hope, Moses' rock-solid presence was there to comfort and stabilize. But Moses wouldn't allow Joshua to go with him on his last trip up Mount Nebo. And Joshua knew why. Moses wouldn't be coming back. He had died up there, and God had buried him in an unknown grave. It was all up to Joshua now. He was the leader. It would be up to him to take these desert wanderers and turn them into the city dwellers. How exactly would they do it? How would they finally take hold of what was promised to their forefather Abraham all those hundreds of years ago? Would it be through brute force? Would it be through clever tactics and superior strategy? Not exactly. The first obstacle that stood between the people and their land was this river, this Jordan River. It was at flood stage and had overrun its banks. There was no good place for 3 million people to cross. How could they invade the fortified cities of Canaan if they couldn't even get across the river that marked its boundaries? In a scene that must have been meant to remind them of their crossing the Red Sea, God commanded the people to cross the river, promising to stop the water as soon as their feet touches the surface. And it happened. They'd heard stories from their new deceased parents about stuff like this. They'd witnessed God's protection and provision in the desert, but perhaps they wondered if he was, like so many of the pagan gods, bound by geography. No, the God of the desert would be the God of their new home as well. He could bring water from rocks and from dry land in the middle of a rushing river. And that's not all. They soon found that he could bring down walls within them, ever having to lift a finger. Let's face it, marching around a city like Jericho, shouting and blowing trumpets isn't a very good military strategy, unless you have an all-powerful God on your side. Then, and only then, it makes perfect sense. And that was the whole point. The children of Israel didn't need to worry about the normal things, number, size, strength. They just had to follow this God, who has stubbornly refused to abandon them, even in their whining and fear and disobedience. It's a good thing we've learned that lesson and never worry about silly, trivial things anymore. Oh, wait. And that's for tomorrow. So, in that time, the Jordan River was flooded. When I was in Jerusalem in the 90s, end of the 90s, that was not a flooded Jordan River anymore. But a lot happened in times, and nature changes too. But anyway, it's a wonderful story to see that God is using everyone, even the prostitute, Rahab. A beautiful story how God is accepting instead of rejecting. And let that be a reminder to us that we cannot reject. We only can accept and love. And as much as we can live in our human experiences to allow ourselves, to open ourselves for our Lord and obey Him. May the Almighty God bless you in your mornings, noon times, and evenings. And if your path is not smooth with obstacles, because this is the reality from our lives, ask God to give comfort. Let Him give you balm for your soul. When you lay your head in the evening and think about the day you passed, maybe it will be for you a milestone, you could say. Something happened that I put a mark on it. And once in a while I can think about it again because something happened and it changed my life. Blessings to all of you, my dear ones. This is your Pastor Yeti. And may God bless you and the ones close to your heart. I love you guys. Bye.